I got inspiration to make a little discussion video on what I think the top decks are going to be for the format here. So, as my food gets cold, you'll get to laugh at me for what I'm going to have to eat after this. It's going to be so cold. But I'm happy because I know what to talk about. We're going to talk about the metagame. Orkest. What's going on? We're not going to put little pictures in this video because quite frankly, I think my thoughts are going to be all over the place. So, let's kind of dig on into this, shall we? Orkest 2019. Nobody knows what's going on anywhere, but we've actually had some events coming out. So we had a big tournament come out of Frankfurt, Germany, and it looks like, well, what was it, 170? It was either 176 or it was 190 some players. I don't have the exact number, but I was looking through Top Cut for a bunch of the decks, and a couple of things caught my attention. One, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, Sky Striker is not dead. Third place out of this bad boy was Sky Striker. Now, what multi-roll, by the way? Like, deck's dead, right, guys? With all of you that scumbagged about your way into cheap Sky Striker cores, or you blindly sold off the deck because you thought the deck was dead. Yikes. Feels bad. One multi-roll does hurt, but it's not like you can't do things. So, one list we had playing Card of Demise, which caught my attention. I think it's really cute, honestly. And just, in terms of what the deck can do, Card of Demise adds another layer, but you don't get to play hand traps in that build besides imperms. It's not bad that you don't get to play them, because frankly, I mean, hand traps are good. We agree with that, but, you know, you pick your poison, honestly. And then, on the flip side of that equation, you have this build that kind of comes out of nowhere, and is like, okay, cool. We're going to play Ogres, we're going to play Veilers, we're going to play Ashes, we're going to play Imperms. And you have to ask yourself, alright, is this what we're looking for? Is this the best way to go about the deck? I think both builds, maybe not so much the Card of Demise one, I think the Card of Demise one's more cheeky than anything, but you have options. You can't be dumb and be like, oh, well, Sky Striker's clearly dead, because it's not. Like, come on now. I've heard some interesting things this format, but belligerently claiming that Sky Striker is dead, no, not at all. Now, that being said, I've also seen some really interesting Orkest list. I've seen Brotar search for Neuralis. By the way, searching for Neuralis is pretty good, because you can get the board wipe, and then you can do the wipe the hand, and then you can go full Orkest combo on your opponent, and then your opponent like draws for turn, and they're like, what do I do? Okay, so you got that. You've got the standard Cyberstein with or without the big earth or the big dark elemental guy. I mean, you got VFD, you've got no VFD, or exterior. It depends. So you've got that really interesting combination. And then you've got, you know, pure Orkest playing the dark 10-Yi Link monster. And actually, I like what that build kind of seeks to do. Now, Orkest is dead, said the community. Being able to ding, I mean, right now, 2 disruptions is kind of good. We went from like 9 disruptions the turn to, yeah, and I mean, yeah, I get it, Triff, buddy. I get you can put 14 negates on a field. Alright, that's cool. Not clickbaiting me into watching your Light Sworn, Fossil Dynaplus, and Pre-Order deck. Oh, wait, I did watch that one. Alright, never mind. So, I get it, guys. I understand that Orkest as a deck, and I think a lot of people will agree, that this thing is evolving rapidly. I've seen so many cool things come out of this. It's going to be a shame when the meta actually manages to kind of solidify itself, because I'm gonna miss seeing these really weird concoctions and things like that. But okay, so good news is Orkest still very much alive between 10-Yi variants, or the inclusion of 10-Yi cards, Neuralis, Cyberstein. Like, cool. That's awesome. That's what we want to see. We want to see that these really bad, crazy decks are still alive. Now, what is up with Salad? Alright, so This one has definitely caught me by surprise. My entire meta at locals has got rid of the deck. Like, I get it. Alright, you can't afford sign-up minings. Alright. So many players just, they yeeted it like it's gone. Even the secondary and thirdary locals we go to, no salad anywhere. Alright, now that's for local metagame. Now, I've seen players, there were a lot of players that have been testing this deck, and I know it. Trust me. It's still really good. Ending on Rage, Roar, and the standard disruptions, absolutely. This deck has no reason that it should be, like, crying. I get it. Circle, Gazelle, they're limited. Sign-up mining, also hit. Yeah, budget players, I'm sorry. But for the competitive side, the deck is still alive. And, I mean, it made top 8 coming out of Frankfurt. Like, it shouldn't surprise you that, once again, like, pleading ignorance and being like, oh, well, why Salad's not alive? Like, why would it be? Yeah, of course it is. Come on now. Now, also under that assumption, we need to ask the question to ourselves, what's going on with Thunder right now? Alright, what is Danger Thunder doing? Well, you've still got Justicar and Justicarless, as I'm going to say. So, if you're playing the Justicar combo, you basically just normal summon Draconet, full combo, nut everywhere, and you're good to go. Like, you end on, like, the full extension board plus whatever your opening hand gave you. That is awesome. Alright, like, that's literally the definition of crazy deck. Now, Justicarless isn't a bad position either. I've seen Chaos Emperor builds and Chaos Emperorless builds with the prize card. I don't know. I'm intrigued by both variants because both builds can build very big boards. It's almost just like that the Justicar build seems a little bit stronger for the really, like, big ending pushes that the deck can do. So, I don't know. Going forward, I wouldn't be shocked to see just cool craziness come out of the deck because the boards that it can make are monstrous. Alright, like, crazy. Now, that being said, what's going on well, okay, I do want to point out one other thing, though. Daniel Ramirez piloted this really weird Danger Thunder Dragon Justicar Orkest deck. And the build should be on the channel in the next day or so if it hasn't already gone up at this point. But we've taken everything and we've shoved it together and made this hodgepodge of craziness. And I don't know. I look at this deck on paper and I'm like, what is this? Like, science has gone too far at this point. And I mean, I've seen the Orkest engines as splashables as ever is. After killing the Phantom Knight engine, you actually balanced out the engine. It's kind of funny. It's now as splashable as it ever was before. And you guys remember, literally, before all this extra stuff came out, we were like, Orkest is splashable. You got Blackwing Orkest, Cyber Dragon Orkest. Yeah, it does things. I get it. It's pretty good. Now, the really last thing I want to talk about here between the... Okay, we'll start with Altergeist here. So, Altergeist are doing great right now. The format hasn't decided if it wants to play Red Reboot in the side deck yet. In a format where you don't have Red Reboot in the side deck, well, Altergeist should be running around doing things. I've seen really broken Altergeist plays, but when Red Reboot actually decides to surface, it's kind of like True Draco coming out of the one YCS that they won. Everybody stopped siding for it, and then now that nobody's siding for Altergeist, it's running around. As soon as Red Reboot gets sided again, unfortunately that deck falls off the map. There's nothing that we can do about it. So, yes, Altergeist is an honorable mention, but as soon as the metagame figures out that we side Red Reboot again, it's done for the deck. And it sucks to say that, but, you know, we'll get there. And the last thing worth mentioning is the Lunalight Orkest list that has been circulating. There is, well, but besides Lunalight Orkest, correction here, you've got this really interesting 7 deadly OTK that's going around. It was made by Celza, and it's Gandora X, 7 Deadly, Luna Lights. It's really interesting, and it's supposed to be a viable deck for the World Championship tournament coming up this weekend. So I'm curious to see it's going to go with that and any sort of like evolution that the deck will go through. But Gandora X, back at it again. Thanks TCG, gotta love it. So there's your metagame in a nutshell, I guess, as we evolve and we test new things and we see where the format's going. But what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. Catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.